Okay guys, in this video we are going to evaluate absolute value function. So what is this absolute value? Well, you can see that where did it fly? The definition of the function includes these vertical slashes. And these stand for absolute value. So absolute value, you can think of it as the distance to zero. So just to demonstrate, imagine that this is a real line, right? Okay, so this is a real line. This is 0 right here. If you start with a value, let's say 5, and I ask you, okay, what is the distance from 5 to 0? Well, you're going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the distance is 5. So absolute value, we're going to write that absolute value of 5 is 5. If you have another value that is already at the origin, at 0, what is its distance to 0? Well, you'd be like, well, the distance is 0 because you're not going anywhere, right? So what we're going to say is that absolute value of 0 is 0. And finally, and that's the trickiest part, what if a number is negative? So what if you're going to 0 from the left side, right? So let's say you are over here and I'm asking you, so you are at -3, and I'm asking you, what is your distance to 0? So you're going to say, okay, well, my distance to 0 is 1, 2, 3. So it's 3. You're not going to say it's -3. So absolute value of -3 equal to 3. So absolute value always gives you the same answer if the number is positive or 0, and then it gets rid of the negative if the number is negative. That's the rule. All right, so let's take a look at the first question, and we're going to also practice finding it in Desmos and also double checking to make sure that that's correct. All right, so let's go ahead, and Desmos actually does understand the absolute value, which some teachers may not like, but we're going to take it as 7, then put parentheses, and then +4. Okay, now right now it's complaining because like you didn't give me any input, so let's give them an input. Okay, how about -1? So it tells me that's 3. Now, why is that? Well, here is what we're going to do. First, we're going to evaluate what's inside the parentheses, because parentheses come first. So 7 times -1 is going to be -7, right? So 7 times -1 is -7. And then +4, what is that? Well, that's going to be -3. But remember, absolute value of -3 is 3. So if the number is negative, that gets rid of the negative, so that's going to be 3. Now, what happens at 0? Now we're going to replace -1 with 0. So what happens now? 7 times 0, well, that's 0. And then +4, well, that's going to be 4. Well, what is absolute value of 4? In other words, what's the distance from 4 to the origin? Well, that's 4. So if the number is positive, it's going to stay the same. Finally, let's going to go at 1. So m of 1, well, 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4, that's 11. It's a positive number, so the answer is going to be just 11.